Live.
Yeah, it says live. Let's see. I'm gonna test it. And hello, guys. Welcome to the Collectors Podcast. Oh shit. Okay, no, it is live.
Oh shit.
Whoops. Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. We have our first guest of the day. We have from the Average Boys, Chris P. Hi, Chris.
What's going on? What's going on, boys? How you guys doing? How's your brother out there in the collectors? How's it going?
Like,
Collectors land? What are you gonna call it? Like, what's gonna be your? Is it just gonna be like, oh, hey, everybody, you're the collectors also?
Yes, sir. I asked the questions around here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you gonna have a nickname for your collectors, people? That's gonna be so good. I can't wait.
Yeah,
So how's it going, boys? Let me know what's up. What's going on?
Very good. So again, Chris, we appreciate you joining. So again, this is going to be a collective podcast. We don't have an official title yet, guys, but I was just so excited. I wanted to get a guest on. So I reached out to Chris. So thank you, Chris, for coming. So
Thanks,
again, we have Jay. Say hi, Jay.
what's up? How's it going, guys? Not at the shop today. I'm at my personal abode.
Excellent.
What
got you guys in wanting to do this, man?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, man. There was a lot of you helping us out. I know me and Fred did the podcast with you guys before. I know I had talked about you or with you a lot about doing one or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it, let's pull the trigger. I was off for 2 days at work, so that's what happens,
Yeah.
You're like, I got some spending money. I got some money to spooge.
I was like, Jay. So we're doing this shit today.
Yeah, check this out. This out. I have an idea, but I'm not even waiting for it. I'm already in the middle of it, and you're stuck with me, boy.
Yeah, it was one of those days that legit. I was at the shop yesterday, and they were just like, "What are you doing after 5?" I'm like, bro, I'm still gonna be here at the shop. It's like, okay, after 8.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, get yourself some drinks. Get the webcam and microphone set up. This isn't an OnlyFans thing. It's gonna be a podcast.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, I think we make more money on OnlyFans.
On a feed finder or some shit. Or
I think I spend more money on the OnlyFans than that shit. Fuck that. there ain't no strip clubs in North Dakota, guys. You gotta have some form of entertainment.
Gotta make it work.
So, all right, okay, so we're just gonna jump into it, man. And I mean, we'll probably get sidetracked because that's what we do best, right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
So, what's it called? The first thing I'm gonna ask you, Chris, I'm gonna ask you what got you into podcasting.
Okay, so I have a good friend of mine. Actually, I want to give a big shout out. Of course, there's Octavio Perales. There's Fredward from the RGV Titan radio site. These guys used to do podcasts, and they used to be a big part of the down South Texas music scene, art scene. Octavio was one of my old kickboxing students when we were younger, and he hit me up and he's like, "Yo, coach, I want to bring you on because I cover on my podcast the arts." His podcast was called The Human Condition. And what it was just talking about people who did art or did things to better themselves and were kind of free based, just people who kind of did their own thing. So he called me up, brought me in, wanted to talk, of course, martial arts and the UFC and MMA and all that stuff because I'm associated with that. I've been a coach for 15, 20 years already. Multiple fighters, pros, amis, all over the place that have fought throughout anywhere you've been. My fighters have been there. Yeah, he hit me up, brought me on the show. And then when we finished like an hour and a half long show. And they were like, man, that went really smooth. That was really fun. And I was like, I had a great time. Thanks for bringing me on. And then Fred, the guy who ran RGV Titan Radio was like, hey man, have you ever thought about doing your own show? And I was like, kind of. When I was younger, I wanted to do it. And I wanted to just get my friends together to just shoot the shit. And the name of the Average Boys was what we literally called it back in 2015. And the reason why is because I never claimed to be a professional at anything of the shit I talk about. I'm just average. I'm just an average dude. But what I want to do is I want to be able to drop knowledge that I can make the people listening to me above average. So they go in there with more knowledge. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Very good.
And the whole thing is I'm a huge comic book dude. I love comic books, grew up with comic books. And nowadays, I mean, in the last 10, 15 years with the growth of the MCU and the DCU comic movies and stuff, there's a lot of people who want to be associated in that world. And they throw out random pops and quotes with no value behind it because they're not historically into comic books like some of us big nerds. So what I've wanted to do is I've wanted to kind of create a Cliff Notes where people can come listen to me talk about the major events that have happened in comic books histories so that when they happen in the films, they're like, oh, fuck, I remember Chris telling me about that. Yo, guys, I know this story. Let me tell you what I know. And they don't have to go back and read and have to find the comics or know where to start from. Like, I'm just gonna break it all down and tell them what's cool and what sucks and what's good and what's not. But then again, that's still my opinion. So,
no, yeah,
yeah, that's good, man.
Of course, everybody has their own opinion when it comes to media and what's going on. You know, especially with like Marvel, MCU, because like, your opinion could be completely different from my opinion.
Yeah, most def. I mean,
it's also one of those things that what gives us growth as like as a comic book community. Just butting heads. It's like, hey, everybody has those great debates.
I mean, it's in most recent times in the last couple of years. I mean, we've all seen it where like a lot of people will call it like the MCU or the DCU going like woke, I guess. But like we saw the majority of how people were trying to be stealing of the brand, stealing of the IPs that we were comfortable with, and they've gotten to a point. This is the problem I see with the movies right now is the Marvel films have gotten to a point in the films that they have gotten to the bad parts of comic booking. Like they're at the part where like, yeah, they introduced Riri Williams, they brought in America Chavez, I mean, She-Hulk was a little bit more understandable, but like all of these characters in the comics, when they introduced them, since they were just characters taking the legacy characters' names, a lot of people were like, no, fuck that, dude. Fuck Jane Foster. She's Thor. Fuck that. There's only one Thor. How does she take her name? Like, fuck that. Fuck that. Like, it was a lot of like pointing. It was like when they brought in Miles Morales. Like, it's like, okay, they brought in Miles Morales. He's Spider-Man, but now there's the multiverse. You have a billion versions of Spider-Man. And it's like, well, I mean, it's not sacred anymore. Like the story of Peter Parker being bit by the spider, losing his Uncle Ben. Like you can only do it so much before it loses its value.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why they kill Aunt May.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're just like, hey man, why don't we kill both of them? Like the new film, they already killed Uncle Ben back in the day. Fucking let's wipe out Aunt May too.
Technically, video game did it first.
And then that's what was interesting about Miles Morales is because he wasn't like a real big legacy steal character, because it wasn't just like, oh well, we're gonna take Peter Parker and just make him black and still call him Peter Parker. Yeah. Like they literally were like in the Spider-Verse, like it's really funny because he'll be like, oh yeah, like I was talking to my parents, and then all of a sudden all the Spider-Men are gonna look at him and be like, your parents? Like I don't even have parents. What the fuck? How did you keep yours? And then you realize like he's not even a Peter Parker. Like his story isn't even ideally the same. It's just that he got bit by a spider the same way, but it's like a whole different family, a whole different ethnic race, and whole different raising of a child or whatever. Yeah. But they've reached those characters and they were never appreciated in the comic books. Minus Miles Morales, and of course, I think Jane Foster's story wasn't that bad. Me myself, I was a fan, but
they did Jane Foster dirty in the movie. And that's my
opinion. Dude, yeah, they did fucking. But that's the thing. That's what I was gonna say is like, Phase 4 has reached that point in comic books. But you already had a bad acceptance of it in the comics. So you're just going to try to be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just going to bring it into film and fuck it up even more. Like, if anything, my opinion was like, look at right now. And it fucking pisses. I'm sorry if I'm cussing too much, guys. Like, it's just my passion. It's just I'm passionate about this. You can tell I'm emotional. Look at how bad. Or look at how fucking stupid everybody is that like, oh my God, Kang is so comic book accurate. Oh my God, it's so cool. And those are the same motherfuckers that were like, Gore the God Butcher doesn't have to look like Gore the God Butcher to be a good character. Like Christian Bale is going to be amazing. No, fuck you, dude. Like you can't make one character look like a comic book character and then fuck another one completely over and then say, oh, it's because of interpretation. Because of interpretation. No, if Christian Bale doesn't want to put on fucking makeup and act, get him the fuck out of here. Like anybody else would take that job. Fuck, I know about 1 billion people in the Valley that'll take that job and get paid $1 million just to put some fucking Twi'lek fucking tentacles on their neck and walk around on fucking hind legs or whatever. Like, dude, I would put that shit on you. Would you put a cloak on and walk around in a bikini for $12 million, dude? Say less, bro. Say less. I did that in college for 2 shots of vodka, dude.
How do you say it? We got Willie in the comments saying David sucks. Oh, that sucks. Thank you, Willie. What a hater, bro.
Willie's all right. Willie, what's up, man? David's all right. He doesn't suck.
I mean, Depends if I'm going to get paid $12 million, right? No,
right? Yeah, no shit. That's what I'm saying. Like,
about the day, David, you know what I do for 80K.
Yeah, no
so like the thing is like right now, it's like Jay was saying, like we've gotten to this point where like, yes, a lot of people have their opinions on how these films should be coming out or how they should be handling these IPs. But I really think that like for what they've done, like the phase 4 of Marvel, the universe, they fucking dropped the ball tremendously. For it to be where like, nah, man, Loki was a great. Oh, Moon Knight was pretty cool. Oh, fucking Werewolf by Night. But you're talking about like $424 million movies versus 3 8-episode fucking Disney Plus shows, and one of them that was like a one-off. Like that's what they're competing with. Like there's no way that anyone is going to tell me Thor: Love and Thunder was better than any of the Disney shows. And they all were sucky, minus like, I think Hawkeye was good. I think the Hawkeye show was the only one that was legit, but I think it was the only one that was legitimately consistent with the MCU.
I would agree with you on that. It's a hit and miss for me.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes, but I enjoyed what I saw in Hawkeye. I liked the way they were bringing, of course, the new
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, Kate Bishop, and the sister of Black Widow.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking. I forgot her name. I mean, it's super easy to forget about.
Yeah, it was one of those things that I like the way they brought him up. Trying to story wise, but it was just one of those shows that it was okay on my end. Like, but
like even with that, like the story wise, like I think you're right. Like the 2 characters that they brought in were really cool, but the consistency on it being a Marvel production, I kind of feel that was the only one that got close to it. Like even if you go back and you look at like, okay, so like for sure, Love and Thunder, like not even close. Like it was a complete fail. And then the highest grossing film, or the highest, I think was either Shang-Chi or Doctor Strange 2.
I think the highest grossing film was No Way Home, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but that was at the ending of 2023 or 2020. Sorry, 2021. No, yeah, that was at the ending of 2021. It was in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was that. So that wouldn't even be technically phase 4. But then again, dude. But then again, we're not talking about just the fact that it made the most money. We're talking about the fact that the consistency to it being a good comic book, and then staying consistent to what the first 10 years gave us. Mm-hmm. Now, what we take into consideration, this is what we talk off of the other podcast. I'm telling you, like, I could do this for years, bro. The last 2 movies, Infinity War, right, and Endgame, there's no way that we were going to come into the next film after those 2 and be like, man, Spider-Man better bring that heat. It had 64 characters. Well, they better fucking make a movie. Like, there's no way. Those 2 movies back to back were an event in cinema history. Those weren't movies. Like Endgame, Infinity War, that was an event. That will, like, there's partially no idea to if that'll ever be done. And of course, we just had the release of Avatar 700 or whatever. Like, I don't even know what the fuck it's called, bro. $20 billion movie.
The way in water.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it, but everybody's saying it.
How do you know this, Jay? How do you know this?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna watch that shit.
Am I gonna bother watching it? No.
No, it's fucking Fern Gully, bro. I'm not gonna watch that shit.
I
First movie was Fern Gully. The second movie's Fern Gully in water. That's all that shit is.
Jesus.
But it's gonna make $1 billion.
We got the comment section coming in hot. We got Willie saying, I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but most Disney Plus series have been ass aside from the Hawkeye one. And then we have Robert Luna saying Moon Knight, Loki, and WandaVision are the only good shows. I remember WandaVision. I had to listen to Jay because I almost just didn't watch it. Like,
it was it was a rough watch, man. But it was cool. But the thing is like that was like a trope film. Like that wasn't even like you couldn't put WandaVision in the MCU because it felt like it felt like a series of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
It was so out of this world. It had a bunch of like quirky, kooky, fucking like superhero trope shit. Like even the thing between Vision, like that was fucking bonkers, bro. He comes in, he asks him some philosophy questions about where to put wood or how many pieces of salt before it becomes a pile. And then he's like, you know what? You're right. Boom, fucking takes off and never says like a word. That was like, why even introduce a character like that? Same thing with Kate Dennings. Kate Dennings' character, right? Is that her name? What's her name? Kat Dennings. Kat Dennings. She comes in, she smashes the dude, and then that's it. Remember, she even got hit with that wave that's supposed to like give people superpowers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right? And then they were like, oh, okay, cool. We don't need to even address that. And then there was the whole thing about that weird guy that was in charge of like sword or shield. Like they made him seem like he was like something else, like a big villain or whatever. No, but dude, he's just some asshole.
No.
It really felt like the way they handle the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Like it's like, oh, the main detective guy's gonna come in. He's actually a Hydra agent in disguise who's trying to steal a weapon. It was real weird. The CG was good. The fact that they constantly put Wanda and Pietro in these situations that are not Magneto's children is them farther away from them being mutants. And that is like, of course, if you're a comic book fan, that's like one of the most like talked about pinnacle points in both of those characters' lives. Like Wanda fighting and arguing against Magneto is a huge thing. You can't tell me in Doctor Strange 2, when they introduced that shit show of the Illuminati crap, that when Charles Xavier comes in and fucking hits the half pipe with his wheelie board, hoverboard fucking wheelchair, that you are not expecting Sir Ian McKellen, Magneto to come in and be like, hello, daughter. Like, there's no way you were like, fuck, that would be rad if she was, if he came in and said, hello, daughter, and then she says, I don't even know who you are, which is what she told Thanos and what Thanos told her in Infinity War.
Yeah,
that would have been a cool shot and a slap in the face to every fucking comic book lover. Because again, how do you introduce the X-Men who, again, have one of the biggest arcs in comic book history, which is known as the House of M? And how do you bring in Wanda and not even make her a mutant?
It's sad to say that when they brought, of course, in the beginning of what Age of Ultron, when they introduced Wanda and Pedro.
Yeah, with her weird ass accent that kept changing.
When they originally brought them in, they couldn't use the word mutants. They couldn't use.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. That's. I mean, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, for the fact that
now they can.
Yeah, now they can.
Yeah, that was a perfect dude. Literally, they brought in 90s Charles Xavier and Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
like literally, that was Marvel telling you, we got it, guys. Woo! The fucking crowd and the NASA, fucking everybody in the room. We got them, dudes.
Yeah, but then they made Miss Marvel. They made Miss Marvel into mutant.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a fuck, dude. No, you know what pissed me off even more about that situation? And because people are like, "You're so petty, Chris. Like, you just try to pick on the weirdest shit." I'm like, no, dude. Like, Kamala Khan's whole arc in the comics was she becomes an Inhuman. Mm-hmm. And during that time, it's like My Hero. I'm a huge fan of My Hero Academia. You already know this, Jay.
Oh,
the people who look like freaks are looked at like freaks of nature in humanity. So when you're disfigured, then people know that you're a mutant, or people know you're a thing. Like as a mutant, and you don't have that, you can hide that shit. And then, of course, you're ridiculed because it was used in the comic books to kind of portray like the civil rights movement, or how people of race were treated back in, like, you know, those times in history. There was like a segregation and stuff. That was shown through the mutant kind and the Inhumans in the comic books a lot.
Yep.
The difference was the mutants were established in humanity already and among us. And the Inhumans lived like on a fucking in the part of the moon or whatever. And then they came to Earth. And then Thanos came and fucked everybody in his storyline looking for his kid. And they blew up the Terrigen crystals, which created the Terrigen Mist. And then people who had Inhuman genes were then physically forced into becoming Inhumans, like just out in nature. So like you could just be hanging out at the park, hanging with a couple of dudes and playing basketball. And all of a sudden your point man fucking turns into a giant cocoon and then fucking comes out and you're like, bro, what was that? And you're like, oh, I don't know what the fuck just happened. And then he's just lights on fire. And you're like, oh, fuck, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens to Kamala Khan is she turns into a cocoon in the middle of, like, on the side of the street in front of a large group of people. And then no one else in her class or her friends or anything changed. So not only was this character a Pakistani Muslim dealing with all of that culture shock, dealing with people after 9/11 who looked at people like that, like, you know, side-eyed and didn't want to trust them. Not only that, but now she's an Inhuman. Like now she has to deal with that shit. So people like have, without any of the other stuff, people could still judge her ass and be like, well, you're fucking Inhuman, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like that was a huge Pinnacle story. So then they fucking be like, oh, well, you know what? We could do this too, man. We could just make her a mutant. Because fuck the Inhumans, right? Because the Inhumans TV show sucked. It was shit. It was bad. Remember this, right? Remember the Inhuman show? It was fucking horrible.
I heard of it.
It was really fucking. It was like, if you thought Velma was bad, like fuck, dude, like they're running on that shit. But knowing that it was that bad, knowing that Marvel came out in interviews and shit and were like, yeah, we fucked up. That show sucked. They brought back the fucking main actor and put him in the costume and all that shit, and everybody got excited. And then they put him in costume. The fucking Inhuman television show. Oh, Black Bolt. Oh, it's so cool. It's like, dude, bro, you didn't like that shit. Like, why are you excited to see this guy in a costume? Like, are you silly? Like, are you silly? What's wrong with you, my guy? Like, that's just weird. But even knowing that Marvel fucked that up, fucks up the Inhuman show, fucks him, bring back Blacketus Boltus or whatever they fucking call him, just to put him in a fucking weird setup of the Illuminati. Like the weirdest setup of the Illuminati.
Yep. Bring him back on the weirdest setup and then just to
fucking wipe him out. Oh my god, that was even the stupidest shit ever. That was dumb as fuck. But I digress.
So Chris, so getting back to, I can tell you've always had a passion for the comic books and the collectible world, right?
Most deaf, brother.
So my question to you is, on your podcast, who's been the best guest that you've had so far?
Best guest on my podcast? That's a good fucking question. Now, in the sense of best guest, this is like a
personal,
like a personal goal guest, in my opinion?
Like who have you had on that you were like, damn, I didn't think I'd get this person on. It was awesome. It was just an all-time great experience.
So far for me, it's been John Bosch and Gabriel Luna. And Gabriel Luna is for a different purpose because, well, John Bosch, dude, my boy, man, Akira himself, dude, he's a voice actor for Kaneda. You know, he's Vash the Stampede. I mean, the fucking secondary main Black Ranger that came out in the original Power Ranger films. I mean, John Bosch is the G, dude. Like, he was a cool guy. And then, you know, talking to him, getting to be like, yo, you suck at jujitsu or whatever, let's talk. You know, at first it was even funnier because I was like, oh, how's your band? And he's like, oh, we broke up like 3 years ago, man. Thanks, guy. And I was like, fuck, I knew it was gonna be. And I even told him, I was like, oh, I know that was gonna be a stupid question. And then he kind of giggled and I was like, so what's up, man? I see you do jujitsu and shit. Are you good or no? And then he's like, oh, what's up, man? And then from there, I mean, because, you know, the universal code is if you do some type of martial arts, like that's always a good conversation. Because then it's like, who's got a bigger dick? Let's put it on the table.
Hey, so who would win between you and the Black Ranger?
I fuck him up, dude.
Hey, bro. It's morphin' time, bro. Man. It's morphin' time, bro.
Instant. I'll morph that dude into a headbutt, bro. I don't even give a fuck, dude. He was some, and I would love to like.
I will pay to see that happen.
Right. The other thing was, I even told him, and what I always try to do is I always try to tell these people something that inspired me. And the thing about it is, I thought Trigun was one of the coolest animes growing up. Like, I thought it was a great anime, had a great series, great protagonists and antagonists, you know, the two brothers, Knives and Vash. Wolfwood was probably one of the greatest characters in any anime history. But the growth of the Trigun character turned it from a comedy to like a serious, like a Cowboy Bebop style anime by the ending of the show. Like, it wasn't as you know, fun and warm and cool. Like, it was fucking serious. Like, when you got to that part, you know what I mean? So, but straight, like when I talked to him and I was like, hey man, like out of all the characters that you've done, like which one kind of like meant the most to you? And, you know, he laid it out there and he's like, well, Vash has always been kind of close to my heart. And I was like, can you tell us more about that? Because for me, watching Trigun, I think the growth of the character of Vash the Stampede is one of the greatest, you know, growths of a character written in that kind of like genre or medium. And he agreed. And he's like, you know what, dude, not a lot of people say that kind of shit. Like, he's like, and let me break it down. And he gave me a whole, like, you know, he talked to me. If there's anything that I always try to do is when I talk to a guest, it's I try to humanize them. I humanize them. And what do I mean by that? You know, I talked to Gabriel Luna. And Gabriel Luna, if you don't know who that is, I fucking fanboyed over this fucking dude out of nowhere when he was the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you haven't seen the scene of him going through the prison, like turning into Ghost Rider, it'll be the coolest fucking thing you've ever seen a Marvel do for a Ghost Rider character. I mean, the character made such an impact that there's petitions to bring Gabriel Luna as Ghost Rider into the films. And that would be cool because him and Daisy, which is Chloe Bennett, they would be the only two characters from that show other than Phil Coulson and, of course, Sif or whatnot from Thor that have made the transition between both shows, like to make it canon, right? Where Marvel is like, nah, man, fuck that show. It's not canon or whatever, but they still use those characters or whatever. He did an amazing job. And when I talked to him, I was like, hey, man, so how you liking this place? Like, I always ask the first question that I always ask guests is like, so has anybody asked you if you tried Whataburger yet? And they're kind of like, yeah, all the time. Like all the time I come to Texas and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like the only thing, like we're really passionate about that shit. And they just start laughing. Like we have no idea why we're passionate about a burger place. But like anytime you come down here, someone's like, oh man, have you tried Whataburger? It's like, dude, bro, come on, man. But after that, we get a little loose and I tell them, hey man, so tell me about yourself. Like we know, like with Gabriel Luna, hey, we know you were Ghost Rider, Terminator, we know all that stuff, but like tell me what has been the biggest opportunity in your life that you were like, whoa, dude, I made it. Like I made it. Like here I am. Like I'm not just a dude trying to, take a Uber to get auditions. Like I made it. And he was like, oh, fuck, let me tell you about this time. Like, I'll tell you. And I like that kind of shit. I like that kind of shit to make it raw, man. Like when you get a raw conversation, like you get a whole other level. We did it with Carlos Ferro, dude, the fucking guy that played a fucking, what's his name from fucking Gears of War? Gears of War, man. And at first when I hit this dude up and I hit this guy up because it was during the coronavirus and a lot of people were just doing shit just to keep busy. And I noticed this fucking guy, like he was out there fucking hustling, putting DJ shit up, just fucking hitting up fans and stuff, but he wasn't able to get out and see his fans. And I took a chance. And I know, I think you guys had put it up on your guys' like debut podcast when you guys were like, man, I want to get a guest one day. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. It fucking works, man. I just hit the dude up and I was like, hey, dude, I don't run a big podcast, but you want to come and shoot the shit? Like you look like you want something to do. Mm-hmm. And at first he was like, yeah, I guess whatever, but I'm only going to do it with phone. And I was like, hey, dude, cool, man. Like, I appreciate you wanting to come on the show and shoot the shit with us, man. So thanks, man. And, we'll give you a holler. We'll call you up. You don't have to. Then it came to the day of the show and the guy was like, fuck it. We'll go ahead and we'll do a video. Like, I don't mind. Well, I'll do it. And I was like, all right, cool, man. Whatever you want to do. And I brought him on and we shot the shit. My camera, it was during like some fucking stupid weather storm. So my camera kept cutting in and out. And that then became like a funny fucking joke between like Carlos, Trigger, and whoever, I forgot who else was on the show with us that time. But it just became like an ongoing joke that we were just like, it just was like, fucking Chris, get your shit together. Even Carlos was like, Crispy, man, come on, fix your fucking camera. My guy, dude. And it just became funny. And I told him, I go, you know what's fucking cool, Carlos Ferro? You know what's fucking wild about your character? And he goes, what? What's wild about it? And I go, without your character, there would have never been a Gears of War. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, dude, your character, if your character didn't open the fucking prison door at the first 5 seconds of the video game to let Marcus out, he would have died. There would have never been a fucking Gears of War game. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have Gears of War. And that's what your character is so important for. And he's like, fuck, I never realized that. He's like, fuck, that's so cool. He's like, yeah, that's right. Like, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And by the end of the show, we were shooting the shit so well that he's like, you know what, dude, if you guys are ever going to do this shit again, like fucking let me know. I'm so down to come on again. Like, I want to be an average boy. I want to be an average boy. That makes me so happy when people tell me that shit at the end of the day, when they're like, I want to be an average boy. Fuck it. I want to be an average boy. Cause it's raw. It's raw, unadulterated nerd shit. Like, and I want it crazy, dude. Like, I want it to be like the I want to know that David likes fucking Barbie Ranch House and has the whole fucking collection of girls or whatever. Like, I want to know that shit. And I want to be like, okay, cool. Like, light it up. Tell me exactly why you dig that shit. And that's cool. Like, and when I talk to these people, I'm like, yo, what nerds you out? And I'll tell them like, when did you fanboy out? Like, I love to ask them. I'll be like, when did you fanboy out? and they'll be like, "Oh fuck, dude! I remember when I met this dude. I never thought I'd meet someone like that." Or Al Pacino was sitting across the table with my fucking asshole guy like this small. It's so funny, dude. And then I gotta give a shout out to my boy RJ Mitty. Guy is like my brother practically now. RJ Mitty plays Walter White Jr., like everybody calls him. He's Walter White's son in Breaking Bad. He lives in Austin, you know. He lives in LA, but his grandparents now run the Mitty Cultural Foundation in Brownsville. So a while back, the Henry Soreto, the guys from Sino So, Edie Castillo, Sino So brought him down as a guest, and they were looking for people to advertise. And they were like, "Hey, can you guys bring us on your podcast just to like talk about the event?" And I was like, "Cool." And I told them, "Well, what we have is, you know, we'll go out to your event and we'll interview your guests for you if you wanted to. Like to have a third party and make it more entertaining for the guests. It's a thing that we've created and it works very well for us." And you know, I mean, even right now, I can't shut the fuck up. My experience in talking to people shows and how I can carry myself in conversation. So it's a skill. It's pretty fun, and I'm happy that I can exploit it the way I do. Exploit it. But like I said, we had a conversation with RJ. The Sino Soul Film Festival at that time didn't get a lot of guests or a lot of attendees. So me and my crew, the guys from RGV Titan Radio, Carlos, Fred, Alex Gilbert, myself, like we made that bitch fun. Like we were like, fuck it. If no one shows up, we're here. Let's have a good time. And we told RJ, we're like, we're going to have a good fucking time. We're going to do everything with you. And he was like, all right, man, let's go. And ever since that day, man, me and him became super close friends. I call him like every other day. We text each other. Brought him down for an event that we had with Josh from Sonic Boom and Games and Ham. We had an event at the 80s Brewery, and he came down and he did the event for us, you know, signed autograph, met people, didn't charge a single penny, just came. Like who can say that? Like who creates shit like that they can be like, oh, I brought this guest from probably one of the most award-winning television shows, and he's a supporting actor of the main guy in the show. And he just came and did some shit for free in the Valley for us just because he's like, hey, I like this place and you guys are fucking cool. And then he sat there and watched Sonic Boom. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Sonic Boom before. They're at all the conventions. They fucking dress up as video game guys. Josh and the crew, they dress up as like Mega Man, and they play like metal versions of like Nintendo games, Castlevania, fucking DDR, you name it, bro. They're all about that shit. And they fucking, Josh went up there and put on a hell of a performance. And we were we were there in that moment, just all of us, including RJ and his girlfriend. Like we were all just there in that moment. It felt great. So yeah, that's probably like one of the coolest motherfuckers. I love RJ. He's a bad motherfucker.
So, you know, with that question, it's a loaded question, right? Because the next time I'm going to ask you is, you know, who's been the not so best guest?
Not so best guest. That's a funny question too. The dude that plays fucking Beast Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's annoying as fuck, dude. Yeah, he's annoying as fuck. But he is a nice guy. I'm not going to say he's not a nice guy. But he is a hippie motherfucker. Yeah, and that's the thing. And I love the fact that he's so passionate about making his dog comfortable. But like he would go on, man, I have to like archive that video one day for you, David, because you'll be like, man, that guy's weird. He just kept going on and on about how his dog was like a transcendent person, that they knew each other in previous lives, and when they met, like astronomically, he became like his best friend. And he was like, I'm gonna make this dog so comfortable on us. I was like, great, man, but what's with all the magical shit around it? Like, just tell me you love your dog. Like, yeah, like. And then we asked him questions about Beast Boy, like, you know, how do you feel about him? How do you feel about his character? You know, and this and that. And he's like, I am that character. I made that character. And I was like, I mean, all right, like I see that, but I mean, you could be a little fucking humble, like, you know what I mean? He was probably the most annoying guest.
Yeah, it's sad to say that when it comes to Beast Boy, he's literally the only guy.
No, but okay, but don't get me wrong though. He wasn't inappropriately rude. He was just, there were things about him that me as a person that I just feel like it's kind of like a nuance or annoyance. Like it's nothing in the sense of like that I think that he's a piece of shit and I'll never interview him again. I'll totally sit with him and be like, dude, you're fucking annoying, but I love you though. Like, I like it. You guys, I know, I love what you've done with Beast Boy, but damn, bro, like you're fucking weird. But it's cool. Like, then, you know, he would go on his way and I go my way. The cool thing is like, I don't get starstruck. So like, to me, like this concept of like stars, like that doesn't fucking, it doesn't do shit for me. Like I could just be like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? High five, you know, fucking nice to meet you, President Biden. You know, fucking give him a little bump and I'll be like, cool, gonna go buy a burger later. I don't feel that. I don't feel any like that people are above me or below me. I just kind of treat everybody at the same level.
Must be nice. So.
It's really weird, dude. Like I don't get nervous or nothing like that around people. I sometimes feel like I'll get nervous.
I don't know. I was say David had that first starstruck with us when we were like at the multimedia that one time.
Yeah. Oh shit! What happened? What happened?
So, all right. So hear me out. So we were there, right?
Hear me out.
Hear me out. So we were vending, right? And at that time, I think it was at Collector Mania 7 with Pete and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And Walter Jones was walking out, and there was this
nice.
Pikachu. Apparently, I don't know if J.R. Fred brought it to the shop. And, you know, I'm like a huge Power Ranger fan. And Walter Jones was like, that's a big Pikachu. And I'm like, and I just
I love you. I love you. Like, I gotta catch them all.
Bro, I was like, shit. And these motherfuckers have not let me forget that shit, bro. To this
it's right, dude. You gotta keep on writing on that shit. And then you gotta prove yourself later on. You gotta be like, yo, I called Walter Jones and I was like, fuck you. I love you. And then hang up on him or whatever and have it recorded. They'll be like, oh, fuck, dude. David's hard. David's so hardcore. That's so funny, dude.
That was fucking great. Yeah,
it's one of those moments that we'll never let David down. Like, you know, we always bring up.
That's a good thing not to let down. That's really, really funny.
I mean,
other than that, I really can't think of a guest that I've had like just an awkward moment with off the top of my head. If I have, I'm kind of already done with it. You know what I mean? Like my brain's already like, whatever. Yeah. Like, you know who I thought was gonna be a dick? The cyborg guy from Justice League, Snyder Cut.
What's his name? Fuck. Ray Fisher.
Yeah, Ray Fisher. I thought he was gonna be a piece of shit.
How did that conversation go?
It's just because, like, you know, he had a bunch of nuances where he was like gaslighting to like the political nature of life. And it's like, as a minority, I understand like that he may have gone through some type of trials and tribulations, but like we're fucking people of color too, and our whole fuck community deals with that shit like on a national level. So I'm kind of like, oh shit, man, you didn't get paid $24 million for a role because you think that the Asian dude's racist against black people. Fuck, must suck, dude. I wish I had $24,000, you know, much less $1 million for someone to hate my guts, bro. But like at the same time, like I really, really thought he was just gonna be jerky because there was a bunch of times, but I have a really cool way of like kind of dispersing conversations and bringing up kind of like hard questions, because the conversation that I asked him, because the Jay Garrett guy was there, right? The guy that plays Jay Garrett.
John Wesley Shipp. Boom.
I was like, I can't remember. I just remember Jay Garrett, bro, the Flash, bro. And I asked him, I go, do you think that our culture, comic books wise, have passed the curve of being the Silver Age, and now our comic books and our anything we get in the media of comic book has to be this kind of like relatability, ultra violent, you know, ultra hardcore characterizations of these characters for them to have heart, and we've lost those old school like values of like the Captain America-esque characters. And Ray Fisher was like, oh, you know what, that's a pretty good question. He's like, no, but I think that characters need to be more relative. Like, I think that people need to relate more and all this other stuff because, you know, and I was in my mind, I'm like, well, you're in the wrong comic book company. That's Marvel. Marvel has you relate to the heroes, where DC puts all their comic book characters on pedestals. You know, the trio, the main three, like they're put on huge. They're like gods amongst men. That's the way DC writes their characters. You'll never reach it, bro. Like you can go into Marvel and be like, oh, I'm gonna train like Spider-Man, and people be like, oh man, you're like Spider-Man, bro. Like, but you'll never see a motherfucker be like, oh man, I'm gonna train like Batman. Because you train like Batman, then someone's gonna be like, well, you ain't got no money. And you're like, well, I got money. Well, you don't know how to do fighting because, bro, he knows every martial arts in the world. Like, he's just a dude in a comic book, but you'll never be as cool as Batman. But you could be as cool as Captain America. And that's the difference between Marvel and DC. Is Marvel, we're supposed to be relatable, you know, Spider-Man, acne, girlfriends, all this other shit. Batman doesn't deal with any of that jazz. Like Batman's just like, my parents died. Watch me get this fucking Batmobile. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. Something he'll never do. But yeah, that's to me, that's the whole fucking, it's fucking weird as shit.
That's awesome. So with everything going on, like with podcasting, I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of it. So it kind of goes into this next thing. So what do you think about the RGV and the podcasting trend with all these different types of podcasting coming up lately in the last couple of years?
I think it's good. I think the Valley has a voice, and it has a lot of the problem with the world in our situation when it comes to the Valley is no one knows we exist. And everyone that speaks for us as a border town is all from inner city stuff, interstate. They're not on the border lines like we are. So when it comes to creating voices and podcasts, it's very important for people to hear, because you talk to anybody that lives on the outside of Texas and you say, oh, I'm from South Texas. And they're like, oh, you're from Austin?
Yep.
And you're like, no, bitch, lower. And you're like, San Antonio? No, bitch, lower. And they're like, Corpus? No,
Every
bitch, lower.
Day.
Yeah,
every fucking day.
And then you're like, no, lower than Corpus. And they're like, Mexico? Like they just straight jump Mexico. And then the never fucking fails. No, you know where South Padre Island is? And they're like, oh yeah, dude, fucking Coca-Cola spring break and all this shit. And it's like, that's the lowest, farthest part of Texas. It's a whole ass gap in between that people don't know that's there. Whole ass gap. But now people know the fucking Bronco 956 guy that's going around on the Pulga shit.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
I don't even know what the fuck that's about. That's fantastic, dude. But you know, recently there's a lot more actors that are out there that are coming out of the Valley that are doing great things. Same thing with musicians, and the podcasting scene is coming up also. The problem with the podcasting scene is it could be like any other source of media also, where it's oversaturated. There's a lot of people that jump at it and do it, and there's not a plan. And I think making sure that you have a plan is the most important thing. And I learned that when I used to do stand-up comedy with my boy Raymond. All right. When I used to do stand-up comedy with Raymond Horta way back in the day, went all the way to Laredo, 575 people, you know, did the Comedy Store like 2 or 3 times. Like it was cool, man. But I got out of it to continue teaching martial arts and work with kids and not have people look at me like I'm a weird motherfucker. But you have to have a plan. Like just because in comedy world, just because you could tell jokes to your friends when you're with them does not mean you can get up on stage and tell jokes and be funny. The reason why is because of the factors and all the mathematical equations that you need to put into work. Like you need to look at it as like, okay, cool. Like in the sense of comedy, let's say you hang out with your friends and when you're all talking, you always say the funniest shit. But is it funny because your friends say something and then you feed on that and you help that grow? Because that means then you need to work the audience, get them to say something, and then you can bounce it back off them and you make that funny. Or is it you telling stories or you telling jokes that is making everyone laugh without them contributing? And then that's stand-up comedy. You get what I'm saying? The podcasting world needs to be the same way. Like it's one of those things, like we can have a conversation right now for an hour and you can have like a fever dream for a week. But do you see yourself talking for 4 days out of the week, 2 days out of the week, 1 day out of the week for 2 hours for the next 6 months? Like, do you see that? That's the hard part to ask. Like, do you feel the conversations you will be having can last that long? Like, we needed to put certain things into line for us, for it to work also. Because the idea of just talking comic books would have you could cover that shit in 8 months. No. Like, not even, bro. You can cover that shit in like 6 weeks if you're dedicated. The whole goddamn Marvel storyline can be told like in a couple of days. And then if you want to just, the rest of it's just you editing and adding pictures to it. Same thing with the DC universe. Then what do? Then you jump onto Image, and then you jump onto fucking Vertigo, and then you jump onto shit that people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not interested in that."
What's
and then you have, shit? Yeah, you gotta, yeah. Then everyone's gonna be like, "I don't give a fuck about God Slap or whatever the fuck this is. What is this crap? Berserk or what's the one that fucking what John Wick fucking made? Keanu Reeves. Yeah, it's like it looks cool. I don't know what the fuck it's about though.
I never read it,
but like it's just one of those things. Like I think the podcasting scene is a very important thing. I think what sucks about the podcasting scene is when large companies decide to call themselves podcasters then it's like, hey guys, this is fucking Fred Durst from CNN. Come check out our podcast on Spotify. And it's like, bro, you already run goddamn CNN. Stay the fuck on that side, bro. Like, let the little guy have podcasting. You know, hey, what's up? It's me, fucking Willow Smith or whatever. Come check out. I mean, fucking asshole, you already have $1 million. Like, let us have a chance to be out there. It's cool. Like, it's like I said, like, it's just me hating on people that, you know, fucking make millions of dollars where I'm making like chump change, baby. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know.
That's how we started, man. Picking up the pennies and leftovers of everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle and it's good, man. And that's what I feel like it's important too. And people need to hear that. People need to hear that story. That's why it's cool. Like my original plan for the podcast, and I still have an idea for it, is I just wanted to get an RV and take off and just go to Walmart's and just park and interview people on the way in. And just be like, yo, what's your story? And then like every show would be like the lunch lady from the local high school, the fucking mechanic from down the street. And then I just tagged the city.
Yeah, well, come over here in North Dakota, bro. I got you.
I just don't want to get raped, bro.
You don't want to get what?
I just don't want to get raped, man. That's all I have to do. I fucking fell out of that idea. Yeah, I want to be safe at home. I want to be safe at home, man. I got knives and guns and shit. No one ain't raping me here.
That was a Walmart parking lot with a white van.
Yeah, dude. Just be like, hey, man, that's a nice podcasting. The guy just runs, grabs it and runs and shit. It's a nice microphone. Like just fucking takes my shit and runs out of Walmart.
No shit.
Yeah, that's kind of like the way I see the podcasting scene. Like, it's really, really good. I love the growth of it. There's a bunch of great creators down here. Josh, we've talked about before, Josh Moroles, Veronique Medrano. She's this fucking chingona, badass chick that does like the Hana music. She's a big nerd scene. We had her on the show before. She's so fucking cool. I had a friend of mine just hit me up that they started their podcast from this past week. They're a bunch of like dudes that do rap and talk about like the not norteño, but like the gangsta rapper scene down here in the valley. And it's like the thing that I see a lot of is I see the music scene being established. Like that's been a thing that everyone covers. Like everyone covers music. It's a very easy, cool niche because there's so many things. And then the other thing, of course, is like the food. Everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna start a food channel. It's like, bro, like stop, man. Like everyone does food. Like do something different. Fucking cover Q-tips, bro. I don't give a fuck. Just don't do food. Like, don't do food. Yeah, don't do food. Don't do food, collectors.
Yeah, no promises, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, oh, what's up, guys? I'm gonna do it. If that's the case, bro, I'm gonna start a food channel and be like, hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna taste test the burritos from Stripes today. Yeah, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, Wendy's Dollar Burger, guys. Let's see what the best thing is.
Hey, bro, I'm just gonna tell you right now, being in North Dakota, bro, the food shit. I'll start a channel as soon as I get back, bro.
But you have the cool thing is you're not in the valley. Like you're outside of the valley. So like even with the aspect of you telling people like, oh fuck, I'm in North Dakota for a couple months. Everyone here in our village is like, oh North Dakota, oh bro, you've been out of the you've been over the walls of the Titan area. You know what I mean? Like you've been out over there in the real world. Like, oh, here in the valley where all the fucking walls Rosa from Attack on Titans and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way the valley is, man. We're just super confined and dedicated to ourselves and stuck on traditional values, and it's so hard to establish like a change in the norm. And when it is, if you're not popular like with an inner crowd, you don't make it. People look at you in disgust. But if you're like, if you've been blowing someone that's been successful for 4 years, everyone's like, I knew it, bro. Good job. You've worked so hard. And it's like, man, get out of here, man. The valley's a weird place. Sorry.
So that kind of goes into the next thing. So I know, you know, meeting you, I know we've met like through parking lot events and stuff, and I know you were doing the podcasting. So besides podcasting, what else do you do?
Oh shit, I do 3D design. I draw. I'm in the process of making a puzzle box that I need to finish. I build cosplay. I build commissions for cosplays, and I've been guested at all the major events here in the valley when it comes to cosplaying for years, dude. I've been doing this. I bladesmith for a little bit, so I know how to make knives. I have axes and knives that I've created from like just nothing, from spring steel. Photography, getting into a little bit more video media, where I want to be able to at least do some type of film. I've done commercials with you guys and other clients and stuff. I used to collect things back in the day, and then my brain snapped one day, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm collecting all this stuff. Who's ever going to buy it all together? Like, I may sell 1 or 2 things at a time, but no one's ever going to buy my $3,000 worth of shit. Like, at once. Yeah,
well,
now, but this was like fucking like, fuck it, dude. When was it that I sold like 2008, 2007? I used to have like a whole wall of shit. Like, and I'm talking about like I used to collect the Dragon Ball Z toys from Mexico that were like misprints. And then I had like the first Angel Spawn. I had a bunch of comic books that I donated to Ramsey because I was like, hey, bro, like, you know, you're starting your comic book store. Like, I want you to have some really cool old stuff. Like, I don't know if it'll help, but here's a box. I just got it. I just donated. He's like one of my best friends, and I've known him all my life, and I love the guy, and I'm so proud of him. So, like, why not? It's just what I've always done. I like to support my friends. And I like to believe in people. I like to believe the fuck out of people. I believe the fuck out of all of you right now. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like other than that, well, I teach mixed martial arts. I'm a martial artist. I've been all my life. Started off as a kid doing, you know, local karate at the local Y or whatever, the Boys and Girls Club. Went on to do taekwondo, went into boxing, went into wrestling, went into judo with Charles Robertson back in the day, who was like one of the only jiu-jitsu guys here in the lower parts. There was some other guys that did it up in the Brownsville area. Shito Ryu Karate under Julio McCall Sr., who ran Thompson's Kickboxing Academy in Mexico. What else? I did stand-up comedy for several years. Yeah, man. I mean, I've done a lot of shit.
Let's double back to the cosplaying. So, what kind of stuff do you build, or what are you working on now? Or
so with the cosplay thing, I really haven't done anything for my own personal projects. What we have in the line right now is my best friend Christella. She did a Belle cosplay, which is an anime that recently got released that was based on Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah,
and I was checking out how to see if I could pull off doing the Beast cosplay. So it's this big character, very hunchbacked, you know, about 7-8 feet tall, the werewolf style legs, which in the movie making department it would be called digi legs. That's what they call that type of, like, where you're on like really big high heels and there's just no heel to hold. It's just you and it's just elevated. It makes you look like you got werewolf legs, like that weird bend back, right? So I was just looking up that recently. The other thing that I got is I've had this fat tire bike for a really long time that I bought a long time ago that I bought just to kind of cruise around or whatever. And I want to cut it up and I wanted to turn it into the Akira bike. So like I wanted to have that and then motorize it and then be able to take it to cons so people could take photos on it. So like I'm really pushing for that. That's another thing I'm really working on. It's not cosplay related, but I mentioned it earlier. I'm working on a puzzle box that's based on Batman. Oh, and nice. It's a big 45-minute long puzzle. It's got a bunch of like moving parts, automated parts. Nothing is store-bought. Everything is like made for that. So I bought a bunch of like triggers that like when you pull something, it moves off. Dude, I bought like, look, I mean, dude, I got a cassette player, bro. Like, who the fuck has a cassette player? I do for the Batman thing. I got so many things. Like, I'm in drone. I do drone flying. Like, I love to fly drones. I do FPV drone flying. That's like my hobby on the side. I love Boji from Ranking of the Kings. I think it's a great anime. I don't think that's anything as a hobby though, but yeah, I'm a tinkerer, bro. I like to tinker. And I don't know if people really understand what that means. Is I don't get like restless leg syndrome. I get like restless brain syndrome. Like my brain of creativity does not allow me to rest correctly. And all the time in my brain, a thing that Albert Einstein said one time fucking constantly freaks me out, and I hate the guy for it, which is a third of your life is already guaranteed to sleep. So no matter what, a third of your life you're going to spend in bed. The other two parts, one is dedicated to work and the other one is dedicated to you resting. But a third of your life is guaranteed to sleep. And no matter what. And life, right now I'm 41, David. I don't know how young you are. You're a little bit younger than I am, right?
Yeah, 31, bro.
Yeah. Jay?
32.
Anybody out there that's younger than that, younger than 41, it creeps up on you so fucking fast. And I know a lot of people are like, nah, bro, I'm 20 or I'm 30. And no, I'm 41. And I can still remember, like, I think it would felt like yesterday that I was like 27. You know what I mean? And it sucks. It sucks when it creeps up on you that way. And to know that guaranteed a third of that life that you're going to experience, you have to sleep. Like, time is not your friend. You have to go out there and do as much as you can and think and do and just fucking be doing stuff, guys. Be doing stuff. That's why I tinker. I tinker because I want to just keep building, and I want to see what the world is going to build, and I want to better myself, and I want to better humanity. If I had like $1 million, I would do the same shit Elon Musk is doing. I try to get every one of you on the moon. I try to shoot you all into space. I don't even know anything about engineering of space travel. I'll catapult you all up there, but I'll build the catapult. I'll build the goddamn catapult for you guys. But it's just what I do. I just tinker.
Yeah. I feel that, man. At night, I got my brain running. I'm like, all right, so if we made this much money, how can I make a little bit more money?
Yeah, you're the business tinkerer. Like, that's the cool part. Like, I think mathematics, if you're a tinkerer of mathematics and understanding like business and stuff like that, like, that's a blessing. If you're like me and you're a tinkerer on, like, you look at this water bottle and you want to make it like hinge rather than you have to twist it, like, that's useless, bro. But my brain will want to figure that out for no reason. Like, if I could do that, but I could do that with my banking statement and make myself a couple of, dude, I would love that. But my brain doesn't want to do math. It just wants to build things.
It want to make things easier.
Yeah, I just want to make, yeah.
What am I thinking about? Fuck.
Sometimes I don't even know if it's about easier. I just want to make, like, just complications even. I'll make complications just on purpose. So, yeah, it's just weird. I don't even know. But, yeah, most stuff. That's what I do other than podcasting.
Yeah.
So, like, podcasting isn't even like my main forte, what people know me for, but it has been recently, which is actually pretty cool. Because, like I said, it was something that I created out of nothing, and I love it.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't fight you. I promise you that. Fuck that.
Yeah. I love it, man. I fucking love podcasting.
You got fucking 10 years on me. I'm not gonna let you kick my ass and shit.
I've been doing martial arts since I was 10.
I surrender.
Yeah, I've been doing martial arts since I was 10. So I got like, I've just been teaching for like 10, 15 years. 2012. I've been teaching openly. Yeah. But I've been teaching since I was 15.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm 41, bro. You can find me all day. I'll just die. You have to pull my ass out of the fucking nursing home first.
Yeah, no shit. What's it called? Well, I guess it kind of goes into our next question here, Chris. So the next thing I have for you is, what's the future of the Average Boys podcast?
Dude, you know what? As a matter of fact, that's really funny because everybody keeps talking about it. They're like, oh man, we should have the Average Boys podcast event, right? Or a convention. And I'm like, can you imagine an average convention? Mm-hmm. That just sounds horrible. That's like sad lo mein. We just said that yesterday.
Play on words, bro.
Right?
The average convention is gonna be fucking spectacular, bro.
Watching fucking Circus Soleil, fucking people flipping all over the place. Exactly. That'd be wild. The Average Boys, what would I want from in the future? I mean, of course, having the opportunity to just have it to where I think what everybody would want is just to have guests flowing, right? The guest flow would be super cool. I think that's like, you guys too, you're running a podcast. I guarantee like the top priority is like guests. Mm-hmm. But a word of advice would be, don't worry about that too much. Like, learn to be comfortable in your own bed. So that way, when you bring people into your bed, it's an adventure. It's not work. Maybe I should have worded that weirder, right?
I don't know, man. I think I want to have David in my bed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretend it's the first time.
Yeah, I was like, because if you're comfortable in your bed and you bring someone into your bed, then you already know the mapping of your bed. You know exactly the creaks and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? But like, if you don't know, maybe that's not the best way to put it.
You're gonna give control of my chick, and I'm gonna get text messages about my fucking bed and other people in fucking North Dakota, bro. I ain't gonna even go down that river.
That's wild, man. You have to remember that you have to be comfortable with just what you got, because the idea of bringing guests in is it's such a wild ride, because it can go super successful. Like, let's say today, let's say the flow of the show is going super smooth, right? Mm-hmm. But let's say next week you bring in a dude and it ends up being where it's like, you know, the person's not as open aired as I am. Like, he doesn't speak as much as I do, or he doesn't just fill up the air. Then it ends up being where it's kind of like, oh, fuck, we did a show. It was like 30 minutes, not a whole hour. We had to cut it short because, you know, we finished the person was so fast. So sometimes you have that, but you as the people running the podcast, like, you have to be able to have that comfort to be able to pull it on more and more and more. Thank God I have, you know, Brian, my co-host with me from Jersey, you know, he's been growing also with the podcast when he joined me. So we've been kind of feeding off of each other, and, you know, we play this really cool, you know, good cop, bad cop moments and shit like that. So it works very well. You got to do your studying. But the future of our podcast, where does it go, is like, you know, we want to be able to engage more with our fan base. But the hard part is, like, you know, Brian lives in Jersey. My thing is, I want to have a studio. I want to be able to have it to where, you know, we're sitting at a table looking cool like everyone else, but it's hard. So maybe doing a podcast on the road, going to go see Brian over there in Jersey, and then us hosting an event in Jersey, like where we get to do like a meet and greet.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Or vice versa. We do a podcast where Brian is coming down to the Valley, and every episode is basing on his day he comes. And then when he gets here, big pachanga, man. We do like a live event of the Average Boys podcast with our guests and our friends. And then we do it like kind of like the Game Grumps, where they play a video game while they're on stage and talking shit with each other and interviewing guests and talking to people, just having a great old time. And, you know, like, I want to be able to do that, but also have it to where I could bring in past guests as, you know, people in the audience, and they can mingle with the audience and, you know, be there. I think it's cool. Like, that's just, my goal is to create a real safe space, I guess you could say. And it's not a safe space like the way you see like in all this political jargon, but I'm talking a place where we can all get together, be nerds, and just be around our shit. You know, in the concept of us nerds getting together doing shit, like, it's never safe. Like, we'll light a table on fire and someone will jump through it. Like, that's just a whim, and we're comfortable. We just laugh at that shit. You know, someone will jump off of a house while they're, you know, singing or doing some shit in the backyard of our house, backyard wrestling shit. Like, you know, the nerd community isn't just a bunch of like dudes that just do weird shit. I mean, even the LARPers in the park can make a whole entertaining day if we just add a crowd and some tiki torches. That's, you know, right, what I mean? Like, I'll watch the fuck out of those guys beat the shit out of each other with foam bats all day. You give me a couple beers. Yeah, you give me a couple beers and some tiki torches. I'll watch all those guys beat the shit out of each other in the park. I don't give a shit. Throw some magic wands at each other or whatever. But yeah, I want something like that, man. I guess that, I mean, it would be cool if we can find some type of way to monetize the podcast, to get money, to keep it going. Like, because that's the only thing is, like, out of pocket, it hurts. Like, it always hurts to kind of, like, you know, push your passion. I think, of course, anybody out there, of course, running a podcast, you want more visitors, more people watching the show, more people a part of it. And it's never guaranteed. But finding ways to engage more with a lot more of an audience, you know, would be a nice factor too. The thing is, I want to get more into the editing aspect, to be able to edit our videos and put it out there in small little snippets, and, you know, just do what everybody else does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What I would like to do for the future of the podcast is make the Average Boys podcast. We already are, though, but the number one podcasting cost, like nerd podcasting news in the Valley, like in South Texas, not even the Valley, because I never like to compete for the Valley. Because if you're number one in the Valley, that's like being number one. Like, that's like being like picked last in dodgeball, bro. Like, we don't even know, people don't even know we exist. So you should not, anybody that's out there that's in the entertainment world, do not try to be the best in the Valley. Try to be the best in like South Texas. That's including Corpus. That's including San Antonio. That's including Austin. Like, incorporate those cities into your ideal of South Texas, and you're going to be bigger. You're going to be way bigger, faster. So that's just advice to you guys that are out there being entertainers.
I'm taking notes like crazy in my head, just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, right? You're like, I'm gonna compete for that. But yeah, that's my goal, man. And of course, I would love to one day be able to do some type of event. I think that's on a queue. I mean, but that kind of goes with everybody that's kind of like in our justified environment or our community. Like, we all want to kind of put something on. There's that romantic grandeur that it's just going to be successful, and it never plays out that way. Like, it just never plays out that way. I'm ready for the misery that comes with that also, I guess. But doing something different and out of the box, that's what's always important. Doing something different, not being afraid to take chances.
Yeah, staying relevant, right? That's always the biggest thing.
Relevancy is hard, man. Relevancy is hard. I mean, right now Relevancy is a dude with like an open shirt from like Cavender's with tight Levi pants and some fucking weird snake-headed boots and a fucking bandana and a cowboy hat called Bronco 956. That's relevancy right now.
Yep.
So right now, as we speak, there's other people in media trying to get that guy involved in their show right now.
Yep.
Right now, which we, the normal thinking dude that just wants to be average, like myself, we're still like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Like, who is this fucking dumb guy? Why is everybody being all hyped about it? Well, they're hyped for a reason. And today, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen the pictures, like the Alamo Pula was like stupid packed. Like it was like overpouring with people. And it was only based on that one guy. So I don't know what that guy must have like cure for cancer, doing some wearing his tacones or whatever, but he did something, man. He did something. So I'm excited. I'm excited to figure out what it is he did. But yeah, that's pretty much the future for me, man.
That's fucking cool. So before we go into the open forum, I guess the next thing. So what are any events that you plan on attending, within the next month or so?
I mean, of course, you guys, I like your guys' vendor nights. And I've told you this before, Jay and Fred. I like what you guys do. Like, even with the idea on how you guys handle, like, talking to cosplayers and people that go, like, you're not, like, one of those things, like you're very humble about it. Like, you guys kind of, like, you want us there as people, not as mascots. And where a lot of the problem is a lot of businesses and events and shit like that use cosplayers as mascots. I do that all the time. I always try to tell my cosplay friends, like, you gotta have more respect for yourself. Like, if you're out there putting 100 hours into your costumes, like, don't let people treat you like you're like a dude flipping signs outside. Like, you're an artist, dude. Like, fucking respect yourself.
Yeah, of course. Like,
I love your guys' vendors, and I love the fact that you guys added that barbecue shit, dude. Like, I fucking love the barbecue truck. Like, you have no idea. I think that's such a good thing. It's outdoor, dude, and it's like, I think that's cool. I think we talked about it before. Like, there's of course always things that we can do to maximize more opportunity, but that's with any event. Other than that, off the top of my head, of course, just like everybody else, I'm excited for this year's for South Texas Comic-Con and Anime Fiesta. Ramsey always puts on such an amazing show. He's had a lot of years of experience. He's been in the fucking trenches for years, and he puts the cash behind it. He knows exactly what to do, and he's bringing it to the Valley, and I'm so proud of him. And I think the Valley should be proud of him. Even if you love him, even if you hate him or whatever, you cannot deny that he's trying his best to put the Valley on the map, especially for the nerd community. Like, he's done it all, dude. I mean, the dude brought William Shatner, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, if you've ever tried to run any type of community event, look up the price of William Shatner and tell me if you think that's even doable in your life. And he did it once already, and he'll probably do it again, man. He'll probably do it again. He'll do the same shit. You watch, he'll probably bring down Mark Hamill one day. And when Mark Hamill comes down, that's like top notch, bro. Because he already hit one side of the moon with fucking William Shatner. If he brings Mark Hamill, like, that's it. That's the top of the fucking food chain in the actors world online. You know what I mean? I mean, you understand this because you've probably looked at the prices of bringing guests and shit like that for this, right?
Yep.
So you already know, man, those things are rough. But I'm really excited for Michael Betancourt's event that's coming up, which is the Storytellers and Authors event. I think that's very interesting that he is showcasing artists and authors of the Valley. And then, of course, he's bringing down other authors that have brought, major books. He's bringing down the Chioda brothers from fucking Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think that's super awesome. He's bringing down Orlando Jones, a big actor. I mean, yeah, like, he hasn't really made some major film movies in the last couple of years, but he did American Gods, which is a great series, fantastic series. And he played an amazing role in that film. And that's because he hasn't even given, and of course, he's got some other voice actors and stuff too. He's bringing down voice actors that are actually from the Valley, that graduated from here, that are working in major, in My Hero Academia. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. But he's also, he says he still has more guests. So, that he's hasn't even introduced the heavier hitting guests. That's going to be going on for a week because it's opened up to children because it's part of the Scholastics Book Fair. So it's literally a convention based on authors, with the Scholastic Book Fair. I mean, bro, we can go buy our calendars with all the fucking, the cars, dude, the Lamborghinis, bro, that we saved up as children to get and sell fucking candies for, bro. I'm super excited. And of course, I think they're doing this thing too, where Michael Bencourt was talking about it on our podcast. You guys should bring him on. I guarantee you'll have a great show with Michael Bencourt too. They're going to do like some type of mixer, bro, where they're going to bring in some of the voice actors, the actors. You pay like a ticket to come in and you get like alcohol and like a chill kind of event where you get to like network. Where you can network with your guests, dude. Like, how cool is that? That is such an intriguing way to be like, hey, you know what? Like, you can buy VIP to an event, but with the VIP, we're also selling this ticket that's like, if it's $100, you got to understand, like, that's the purpose, because you're going to be able to get something out of this if you're smart enough. Like, I don't mean it to be where you're going to pay $100 and go to the mixer and you're going to lapdog on the guest the whole time and ask for autographs and pictures. Like, you get to sit there and be like, yo, so who's your manager? Like, when you went to LA, like, what did you do? Like, when you landed, what was the first thing you did? Like, how do I make a tape? How do I audition? How do I create a voice acting area in my house so that I can do a voice? How do I get into voice acting? What type of, there's a bunch of things that you're going to be able to do. The Chioda brothers, they literally make movies. They're about to make a video game for Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You could be like, how do I get involved in the movie industry? How do I get involved in special effects makeup? Like, these are your opportunities to be able to go in there, ask questions, and put something on your resume, or even show your resume to these people. What an opportunity. Can you imagine going to any convention, being able to go to like an actor or a guest and be like, hey, I'm interested in acting. What do I do? Person's gonna be like, well, back of the line, $60 for a photo or an autograph. Like, what are you acting? What are you asking, bro? Like, just pay and go. Yeah. I think that's a very interesting move, like evolve wise in the events coordinations. I think that's beautiful, dude. That's such a great move.
Yeah, something different for sure.
Yep. And I mean, we have UCX. There's a couple other events and stuff that are going on. A lot of people building. Yeah, we'll have to see where it goes, man. Because I mean, there's so many of them, man. So many of them. The Valley's always constant, man. I want to see a convention at, I don't know, the Mercedes Livestock Show or something.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to see some cool shit. I don't know. I just want to see cool shit. I just miss my friends, my cosplay friends, and all my vendor friends.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know with the vendor night, you guys have been a big help, and I know we have plans to move it indoors and so forth this year. So we're not doing no more outdoor events.
Yeah, but you're moving them indoor though, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty much a big plan right now. Like,
what you guys should have done, and I always told you this. You should have put a projector up and shown all the Cowboy games at your fucking events, dude.
Yeah, no shit.
That would have been so cool. Fucking Cowboys playing. Fucking people would have just been there just to be there, dude.
We can play them now. Oh wait, they got the Bucks next. So
they got smashed.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're gonna lose this wild card. They're gonna lose this.
They're gonna
lose. They're fucked.
Tom Brady's only undefeated against the Cowboys. Just saying.
No.
Only.
North Dakota or what?
Hey, bro.
North Dakota football team.
North Dakota football team.
Everybody's just competing against Moose and shit.
Yeah, no shit. The Elks, bro. The Elks.
Oh yeah, Elks. My bad.
Have you already have a run in with the elk yet, or no?
I did have a run-in with an elk.
They're big as fuck, aren't they?
Bro, I just grabbed my gun and I was like, if I shoot this, am I gonna get like arrested or what's gonna happen? Because that thing's fucking.
It's gonna pull its gun out,
bro.
It's gonna be a turf fight, bro. Yeah, it's its own gang.
956 cup.
956 cup. You're gonna know something today. What you got?
But that's pretty much it, Chris. That's all the questions I have. You have anything that you want to ask us or anything?
What about you guys, man? What's the future of your guys' podcast?
You go first, Jay. Let's see what you say.
He's like, test.
Yeah. They're gonna fall the heat on me, David. I don't know. It's like pretty much for the future. Well, at least what I want to try to do for the podcast is, it's kind of very interesting with me. It's just that I want it like either just trying to bring like some knowledge, especially like when it comes to like our side of business, like when it comes to like the way we run our collectible shop, like the way like how we've been 2016 when we first started doing this. It's already been like going on 7 years doing this, about to be 3 years in our location at the moment. Just kind of showing off like maybe struggles and giving us some decent pointers, showing like how, like with us, like how we did it, and maybe give like guidance to like anyone else that would actually decide to actually pursue a career to something like this.
Very true. So,
because I think the craziest thing we ever done was when we opened up shop.
I mean, I'm just kidding.
October 2020.
Was it October?
October 2020 when we opened up for COVID.
I know it was COVID. I remember that. Yeah. So
first thing they told us, that you guys are stupid for opening up during COVID.
How do you guys like the format of the way like Kevin Smith did his show? Like when he would have all the guys from their comic book store doing a show based on like, I mean, their show's a little bit more based on like, oh, let me tell you about this crazy dude that came in to sell a fucking fortune cookie. He's got like weird shit. But like, how do you like their format? Is that something that like does that inspire you, or do you feel like when you watch those kind of shows that that's for entertainment value? Like I want to go a little bit more this direction, like in the sense of theme.
So for the theme that I was kind of thinking about. So I know in our community, I mean, regardless of it's a valley or not, right? We have different people that have different strengths. So podcasting, cosplay would be like your specialty that you're known for in the valley, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have people that are known for like putting things together, whether it's Ramsey or Armando. Then we have like new business owners like Homer, Lalo, people like that are starting businesses from scratch. And just to be a more informative podcast, not only get to know the people but humanize them, because
True.
A lot of people think that us as businesses, kind of like more mom and pop shops, right? Like there's a lot of customers that come into our shop and like, hey, when's your next shipment? Like it kind of doesn't work that way. We're an exclusive pop shop. We kind of make it a one-stop shop. We don't carry what Walmart carries. We don't carry what
it's not about the having it in stock. It's like you get what you can.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the one thing that that we've brought to the table. And we've had multiple people ask us, how do you do it, this and that, and I think it's just a respectable way of respecting each other's trait. And then for anyone that's truly listening that wants to grow, whether it's in the podcasting, in a business sense, or getting the courage to open up, whenever, I just want it to be an informative podcast like that.
Good shit. I really like that. That's a good answer. It's a hell of an answer. In the sense of guests, what type of guest? I mean, of course I'm here, but like, I'm not going to be your best guest, dude. You know what I mean? You're going to have more better guests. I'm just an average guy, man.
I'm
just an average guy.
You're the best guest so far right now.
Yeah, so far. You're the best in the valley.
I'll make you a deal. You're going to be the first guest and the last guest.
Hey, there we go. Memorial.
We got you, bro.
What type of guests will you hopefully be bringing onto your show in the future?
So for sure, I did talk to Armando from United Collectors. So I'm going to get him on next week. I'm just kind of finalizing some days because of work. And through Armando, with a good relationship that we've had with him, just want to pick his brain, what got him to collecting, what got him starting, what flipped the switch from collecting to organizing. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people out there like that are doing more vendor nights and more stuff, right? Some of them have clear direction. Some of them just plain old. I mean, it sounds real shitty, right? Some of them just fuck over vendors, take their money and run.
I mean, dude, for me right now, I kind of feel like the vendors like night situation is kind of being oversaturated. Mm-hmm. Beforehand, it used to be this thing that it was kind of like edgy. Like, oh, dude, look, you know what I'm going to do this weekend? I'm going to try to invite some people over, put them outside and see what we can do. Let's try to network. But nowadays, it's not about networking. It's more about, oh, well, I'm just going to try to bring people to my shop. I'm just going to have some fucking people outside. Yeah. Like, it's not really about the actual, like, let me respectfully network with people. Like, it's not about helping anymore. It's just about who's getting what now.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I don't know. It's oversaturated.
It's weird, man, because like we'll see it sometimes where people will come up to us and they'll be like, "Hey, is it okay if we steal your vendors?" I said, they're not mine.
Yeah, they're like, not there's no ownership.
I don't own these people. If so and so wants to do the event, I mean, more power to it. Do it. Invite them. Let them make their money. I respect that.
Yep.
If they make more, awesome. If they make less, well, I mean, it's a win or loss. It's a gamble every day.
It's like I've said before in the past. Everybody deserves the opportunity to fuck up their passion. Yeah, that's really what it is. Everyone deserves it. It's a cool. Just don't screw over anybody else. Mm-hmm. Don't screw over anybody else.
Very true.
Yeah. Let's see. What else can I ask you guys? Oh fuck! What are your guys' favorite IPs, man? What are your guys' favorite franchises? What are you into? Like your Marshmallows or Barbies or what do you guys do? Because you know me, like I comics. I'm fucking Marvel. Like I know a bunch of shit. But you ask me anything about like fucking the Limp Bizkit band or I don't know shit about them. Avenged Sevenfold. I don't even know nothing about them.
Hey, bro, don't be a hater, bro. What about you, Jay? I'll let you go first on that one, Jay. I know what you like, Jay.
He's just wearing a hat, man. Goddamn.
Well, the current season right now for My Hero Academia. Like, have you ever seen it?
Which one? The new episode?
Yeah, the season 6.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah,
are you talking? I was All Might for a convention, bro. Like,
so I've been into that the latest series, the latest season for.
It's one of those things right now, Jay. You got to understand that people come up to me and they're like, "All Might, right?" That's me, man. That's me, bro. I got people coming up to me.
Do you say "I'm here" when you say that?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, don't worry, guys. I'm here, man. Dude, and you know what's super crazy? Is I 100% think that the All Might character has been one of the best like written superheroes in the last like 10 years. Like All Might as a comic book character, not as a manga or an anime, like as a comic book. I'll put his ass up against Captain America. I'll put his ass up against Batman, Superman. Probably one of the best comic book heroes in the last 10 years. Like such an awesome story, dude. And even the scene of him fighting All For One, like in him laying it all down and then doing the point like it's your turn. Fuck, dude. Like we're just grown ass men crying in bed and shit, hugging our pillows and shit. What the fuck am I doing, man? Sorry, I digress. Let's go back, Jay. Sorry about that, man.
No, but like I said, I think you might start a battle with David, dude.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Shot fired with Captain America right now.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, dude, don't even mess around, bro. Captain America's my guy, dude. But like,
I haven't seen My Hero. But America, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dude, but then again, you look at it and you look at fucking what they did with him in Civil War 2. And then you look at dude, straight up, the Hydra Captain America storyline was probably the best thing that they did with him in like the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Because for the last 20 years, I mean, what the fuck was he doing? Like literally, what was he doing other than trying to fight Tony Stark all his days? Yeah. Like even in Secret Wars, he was still fighting Tony Stark to the end of the incursion or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the Hydra secret Captain America that was a good story. Do you remember that shit? Like that day popped off so hard that like CNN was like, Captain America said, "Hail Hydra." Oh, what the fuck? And I was like, bro, you guys don't even read comics, but this is so cool that there's imaginary characters on CNN. How badass, dude. That was like my day.
I'm gonna steal something that what David said yesterday. It's like that Homer meme. You know, that's all you saw.
The walking into the fucking
walking
to the shit. Yeah. Oh, so Jay, what is it, man? What's your cream and potatoes, bro?
Pretty much, it's like you said, like I'm the registered anime guy when it comes to here the collector. So like I say anything when it comes to anime, I usually watch it. It's like Chainsaw Man, a phenomenal show. Like I love the way it ended. I can't wait for whenever they do the next season. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Spy X Family.
Yeah, Spy Family's been interesting. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like the pretty good show. Other than that, like it's like I said, I love Sonic. Like you can see most of the stuff that I have behind me.
Yeah, I was checking out your collection in the back, man.
Yeah, freaking have a little Build-A-Bear that friend gave me like in the back.
I haven't read that comic book Patron yet though.
Limited edition, sir.
Limited edition.
101.
I haven't seen that comic book yet.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that it's technically not mine. It belongs to Fred. I just took over his room.
It's from the neighbor. It's from the neighbor of the shop.
He stole it from Fred.
Oh, nice.
No, yeah, but other than that, like it just recently just like watching whatever new shows that are coming out. Like I actually just watched Velma on the HBO Max.
Oh, nice. Good shit. Good shit. Oh, no, dude.
I just watched.
Dude.
I wanted to watch it just to see how it was.
You know what's sad is I have to watch it too because I'm gonna talk shit. I'm gonna talk some mad shit about it on the podcast next week.
I saw the first 2 episodes. I think that's the only ones that are out. I watched The Last of Us, but too bad it's not until I think it's out now.
Yeah, I think it came out like at 8:30 or something here.
Yeah, I think it's out now. So I'm probably gonna watch that later.
Man, I'm gonna have to watch that Velma show. Did you know it finally beat the king of the worst score in Rotten Tomato?
Yes.
It beat Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yep, I saw that and I heard that.
It beat Dragon Ball Evolution, dude. Like, how bad do you gotta be to beat Dragon Ball Evolution? I tell people that because I've been told on our podcast that people are like, oh, you know what? We should do a watch party because you're really funny or whatever. Like, we should watch party a movie. What do you want to watch? And we did this whole episode where like Brian was like, what should we watch or shit? And I was like, Dragon Ball Evolution. He's like, fuck you, dude. I'm not gonna watch. I was like, we gotta watch a bad movie, and that is the baddest movie on the planet. I've never seen it. I'll never see it. Dude, you should watch it at least once in your life just to like never get that hour back.
I'm down.
Yeah, right, dude. It's just something about it. It's just like, yo, we're just gonna drink a lot and watch a really bad movie and just cry and laugh. I think it's those kind of movies make watching it with friends a million times better. It's the same thing with like the Chun-Li, the Street Fighter movie. Like that movie was fucking horrible. I'll never forget that line where like the Chris guy from fucking the high school American Pie movies. He was the jock guy. He's playing a detective, and they're like, M. Bison, he walks through raindrops. And I was like, the fuck Shakespearean bullshit are you clearing, dude? What the hell, man? And that's because like a movie that took itself serious compared to like the Scandinavian American Guile that we got with the Van Damme movie from the 90s and shit. At least that one didn't take itself too fucking serious.
Yeah, you're not wrong. At least
fucking Ryu and Ken were like con artists, thieves. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that to those two characters? Fucking Gomez Adams was M. Bison for flying through the air and fucking just doing crazy shit.
Jesus,
that was the fucking funniest movie, man. Bud Ming Now Win was in it, and now she's like in everything.
Yeah,
the chick that played Chun-Li. So that's cool. But David, what about you, man? Tell me about all the shit you're into,
bro. So like, I'm like a huge Power Ranger nerd, bro. Like,
I know.
JDF thing, bro, it took me hard.
I know, and I felt for you, dude.
I remember.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Dave, fuck, dude. That was wild as shit. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
David texted us at around, I think it was like 3 or 4 o'clock.
Dude, I was all over that shit all morning, dude. Like the moment it popped off at like 3 a.m, I stayed up the whole night, like stuck on Twitter waiting. Dude, and I cannot believe we're in this timeline. Like that's the craziest shit, dude. Like even to this day, I'm still like, yo, I cannot believe that JDF did that, man. Or like he's gone in that way.
Yeah.
That's wild as fuck. But I mean, that shit's real. But okay, I don't want to get into like that kind of serious shit.
No.
So okay, Power Ranger stuff. I know
Power Rangers for sure, bro. And then I don't know, bro. I've always had a want to make money mentality. I think that's what aligned me to Fred and Jay with the collecting. So Power Rangers was my passion, and just being able to make money, be successful, flip the $20 to make $25, you know?
Good shit.
I was that kid that would take my lunch money, save it, walk to Globe, because I was around the Charles Middle School. I walked to Globe, get those cornets 5 for $1, then sell them for $1 each. Nice. You know, like I was
a kid using my coins to play Street Fighter in the front, dude.
Yeah.
That was
you were there. I was that guy. I looked at you, I'm like, I'm gonna have enough quarters, but not right now.
You're like, I'm gonna have the quarters to buy that game from here. You keep giving that money quarters, yeah. You keep giving that machine quarters, boy. That's gonna be my machine one day.
Yeah, one day.
That's really good, man. So that's your forte then.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've learned a lot through the Funko aspect, obviously, like, so we don't get ripped off. Manufacturing year, same thing with figures. I have absolutely nothing when it comes to Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's straight up Jay and Fred. Bro, I have people with cards. I'm like, all right, so that guy over there with the glasses and the hat, you want to talk to him?
I'm the only guy that laughs when like Ash Ketchum dies in the cartoons and shit. I'm just like, just like this kid. You're messing with fucking dragons that shoot laser beams from their eyes, and you don't expect you're gonna die. Get the fuck out of here. That's me.
Have you read the Pokemon manga?
Nah, dude, but it's like one of those things. Like if the Pokemon world was slightly real, dude, human beings would be like bottom of the food chain, dude. You got fucking rats that control lightning bolts. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like we are nothing in that world.
When you get a chance, look up Red's Adventure, Pokemon manga.
Red's Adventure. That's that dude that's supposed to be like Ash's like nemesis or whatever.
It's supposed to be Ash, but that manga goes dark.
Good. They need to. I wish they did like a Pokemon war where like people were using Pokemon to fucking kill each other.
On the manga.
I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for like a violent Pokemon game.
That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Nintendo likes his IP too much.
Get a Charizard with a 50 cal. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, right? Like, I mean, fuck. You side to just pop a bunch of people's heads, dude.
There's actually a PC mod on that now.
Jesus Christ, Jay. Or what was that video you said, Jay, where they're dissecting the Pokemon on TikTok? This guy's a sick guy, bro.
Yeah, dude, fuck those things, man.
He's a sick man.
I found a video of someone
just chopping them up and shit, like cooking them and stuff. Yeah, I think I've seen that video.
He was squeezing his enses out to make it some kind of oil.
So okay, so I gotta ask this because I'm a strong believer that this really dictates a person's personality. I don't know how, but it just helps me understand people better.
Shit.
Favorite comic book arcs. It really tells me a lot about a person. Like a favorite arc of a comic book.
Oh, bro. So, yeah. So, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I got into comic books because somebody told me I couldn't do it.
Good. I mean, fuck. I mean, that's yeah. Fuck yeah. I got into comic books because my weird aunt got it for me.
So, like,
I remember that day.
Yeah. So there's a friend of ours. I'm not gonna say who he is. And he was talking all the shit, bro. He's like, you never learn comics as much as me. You can't get these 20 years of knowledge like I got them. I'm like, bro, bet I got nothing but time and opportunity, bro.
Nice. Fucking sounds like Marvel Mutant Massacre. God
bro,
damn, man.
I was talking shit, bro. I saw that Marvel's Mutant Massacre.
Yeah.
So I think
crazy
the only thing that I've actually pretty much read, or I'm starting to read now, is The Last Ronin. That's the one I started reading.
Okay, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Okay, good shit. Jay, what about you? Favorite comic? And this goes off of the idea of you don't even need to have the idea of like needing to read it, but you know about it, and you're just like, that's my story. So like you said, Captain America, if you would have said like, yo, Civil War I, like in the comic books, like that story, I would have been like, okay. And you'd be like, well, I didn't read it, but I know about it. And I'd be like, fuck, I mean, cool, man. Shit, as long as you know about it. Jay, what do you got?
For me, honestly, it's the IDW the new Sonic the Hedgehog comic books that are coming out now. They're actually really interesting. I'm not sure if you've ever read.
And you're one of those meme guys, aren't you?
I'm not.
You're like a meme king, bro.
I'm not.
Only guys that do memes and hang out on 4chan like Sonic, dude. That's all I know. That's all I know, dude. You probably do Reddit at least 5 times a day, dude.
Never do Reddit. I don't have Reddit.
You got one thing right about him.
You're like, damn, that was a good chance. This really does work.
I can tell you straight up. I send memes for days.
You see, that's how I know that Sal is a dedicated comic book guy.
Mm-hmm. Green
Marvel
Lantern
Massacre was like an old, like maybe like 90s. Like it was one of those like back in the 90s, like the original X-Men characters that you knew and loved, and it dealt with like Hope Summer, and it dealt with all the time travel Cable and all this shit. Mutant Massacre was wild as fuck, dude. It was crazy. They had already fucking destroyed the X-Men have been shit on so hard in comic books, and there's some really great arcs, and the Mutant Massacre was wild as shit. The Green Lantern Blackest Night is one of those, like, you are dedicated to DC to know that comic line. Because usually the first comic book arc is usually like someone will say like, oh, Crisis. And then you say, oh, okay, cool. Which one? Because there's Infinity, Crisis on Infinity, just Crisis. Like which one? And then they're like, oh, I don't know. Just Crisis, bro. Like, I don't know. Like they don't even know like how to dictate it. But fuck DC for their fucking confusing shit.
That's funny because I think we just got Crisis in. And then also we actually got Blackest Night as well.
Yeah.
Blackest Night is like you really read comics. And not only that, you're into like sci-fi space shit. That's what I always get. If you're into Green Lantern, like that's the thing. But that's not about space.
I hear Green Lantern. I'm thinking of the stupid ass Ryan Reynolds movie.
Nah, well, I mean, don't tell Ryan Reynolds that. He'll fucking cry, dude.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like he's like George Clooney's Batman. You can go up to George Clooney and be like, "Hey, dude, your movie sucked. Like, I want my money back," and he'll give you $20.
Jesus.
Yeah, he'll actually give you $20. Like that's dedication to a joke, dude. That is dedication to a troll. But yeah, straight up. I guess my favorite comic book storylines would have to be World War Hulk. Like that's straight up. Like Planet Hulk to World War Hulk is probably like definitively one of the greatest, if not the greatest fucking comic book arc in comic book history. Other than that, I'm going to probably say the new Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars. Like when they introduced God Doom, and they did like the whole like him taking the powers of the Beyonders, using Owen Reese, him deleting Reed Richards, them coming back on the life raft, like that whole storyline on the way that they wrote Doom was awesome, fucking awesome. And like I have to say though, straight, and Sal, this goes out to Sal in the comics because he knows this shit too. Out of Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars, the way he handled Doctor Doom, can you name another arc that ever made Doctor Doom that fucking badass? Like as a character, because the thing is like right now, my big thing, because you know me, on the podcast, I'm always trying to come up with different ideas of conversation. Mm-hmm. And I always call bullshit. I never not call bullshit on like people that'll be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God, that character, MODOK. Oh, no, dude, I will be like, bullshit. Dude, no one cares about that character. What are you talking about? Doctor Doom is only amazing in the comic books other than Secret Wars. I mean, and then there's some other parts too, but they're very minor. But he's only an amazing villain because of the Fantastic Four. Like Reed Richards and the family in some way have to be there to make Doctor Doom a significant villain in the universe. So you can't say Secret Wars, the original one, because yes, he was a part of it. The entire cast of Marvel was there, but that comic book was created because they wanted to sell toys. Like that was specifically created for them as an advertising ploy, and it became a really cool comic. But other than that, what else has Doctor Doom in a significant art done other than Secret Wars that makes him amazing? And the only reason why I bring that up is because there's a huge controversial thing right now that's happening where a lot of people think that MCU is going to use Kang the Conqueror and make Secret Wars, but make it Kang, not Doctor Doom. And it's like, okay, I could see that. Kang himself is a really weird comic book character, and a lot of people are excited to see him, but like it wasn't until like maybe 5 years ago that they actually kind of like solidified his powers and his level. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time he was just this weird motherfucker that could time travel. He'd pop in and be like, look at my wiener, and then like fucking disappear. And you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, and then he'd be like, I think I'm related to Dr. Doom or Reed Richards. Bye. And it's like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Like he never had like a really cool story until they like, and then when they wrote dedicated stories about him, it was confusing as fuck, dude. It was so confusing. But if they make him Doctor Doom in Secret Wars, there's so many cool ass scenes, dude, in that comic book to make Kang. But what do you do with Doom when you bring him in?
It's true.
What do you do with Doom? They're gonna fucking destroy Doom's character just to give Kang an opportunity to look cool. And that's the big thing about the MCU. That's my biggest problem right now with it. I'm tired of them like fucking borrowing and fucking up other stuff. So
it's not a cut and paste world for a true diehard fan.
No, sir, not at all, man, not at all.
Looking then, we just have to just wait and see how they decide to bring out the new characters, especially that. Well, Phase 6 is going to start with Fantastic Four. So
yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what they got, man.
I'm looking forward to what the MCU is going to bring for Fantastic Four. Especially this is going to be the third reboot.
How do you guys feel about the casting? They use that guy for the Illuminati, which is the one guy that everyone was like, oh man, they gotta make him Reed Richards. And then they fucking juice his ass. They turn him into fucking the sour striped candies from Stripes with chamoy all over it.
The knockoff ones, not even the real
the
ones.
cheap blue ones with chamoy red all over it because he's bloody. Who do you guys think they should do? I saw that there was pictures of Adam Driver, Kylo Ren playing. How do you guys feel about that?
Hey, bro, John Cusack, bro, all the way, bro. You gotta keep.
I'm about John Cusack, man. I'm not even kidding. The one that I was kind of weirded out was there was for the guy that was in Andor, the Mexican guy from Andor.
I don't know his name, but I know.
Yeah, they were like, they want to bring him in as Reed Richards, and I was like, so they're gonna make him like a Cuban, Puerto Rican, Spanish guy? Like, what? What? No, don't do that to him. It's gotta be this weird white dude, man.
Smartest man on earth.
Smartest man, John Cusack. Or John, what's his name? The guy?
Diego
the one that
Luna?
played Reed Richards?
John Cusack, the one that played Reed Richards, right? Yeah.
The one from The Office and shit?
Yeah. So,
Diego. Yeah, Diego Luna is the one that a lot of people are pushing on bringing him in. I'm kind of not interested. Me, I don't want it. I'd rather them get that guy from that fucking weird that dating movie, She or whatever. You. The movie You. Did you ever see that TV show You?
Oh yes,
dude. I think that guy would be a great Reed Richards. He's like scrawny, skinny.
No, I can see that. Like,
right, that would be that would be pretty good. It's a pretty good fan choice, though.
I would agree with you on that.
I wouldn't mind the guy that played Thing in the original Fantastic Four from like the 2000 movies.
Oh, I forgot his fucking name. I know who you're talking
about. The bald guy. I think he did an amazing job. And he loved that role too, man. He was in like the fucking police show and everybody hated his ass. So that when he went in to play the Thing, a lot of people still didn't like him, but he was so passionate about that role. Like he really loved playing the Thing. It's like, yo, bring that guy back. He's so good.
He was so like the RDJ back then, bro, before he blew up.
Yeah.
He was like just the perfect
Shield the Wire. Yeah. I remember that shit. So what do you guys got left, man?
I mean, that's pretty much it, man. Just, I appreciate you coming on, Chris, very much.
Thank you, boys, so much. I had a great time. You guys did an amazing job. I like what you guys are doing. I hope to be a guest one day again when you guys are awesome and famous and cool. And yeah, man, just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. What's it called? And then you're gonna be one of our special hosts one day too when Jay can't make it to me.
Oh, most def, dude. If you guys ever need any kind of backup, man, you guys have always been there for me. So you let me know.
So I guess before we sign off, make sure you check out Chris P and the Average Boys podcast every Friday at 9 p.m. Right?
Yeah, you got it, man. Thank you so much.
Watch out. You see, every Friday 9 p.m. I know I try to jump in when I can.
Yeah, we're trying every Friday night, 9 p.m. Live. Anybody ever wants to jump in, come and talk conversation with us. It's all nerd. It's all just talking comics and film and anything you guys want to talk about. It's just a really cool space to just let your nerd hang out. And it's what we do. Right now, we are in the process of reevaluating. We do it on Facebook, and you can find our podcast on Amazon, Spotify, iTunes. We have a huge archive, 138 episodes. I mean, we've been doing it for 140 episodes by now.
Jesus.
Yeah, so we've been in it, man. We've been in it for a minute every Friday night.
Episode 2.
It's been a while, man. But thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, if anything, I just had like one more question for you because I know. I know you said you're like a huge Trigun fan. Have you seen the new one?
No.
Trigun Stampede.
Not even interested in it.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's not that I saw that they brought John Yun Bosch, so thank God they did that shit. But in my opinion, you know what even got them to want to redo Trigun in the first place? Is that it was a masterpiece. The original series was a fucking masterpiece. You know what happens when you go back and visit Remasterpiece and you try to remasterpiece a masterpiece?
You get Cowboy Bebop from the Netflix series.
Exactly, bro. You end up shitting on it because a lot of people want to. Everybody wants to remaster them because they're like, oh, well, my invention can make it 1,000,000 times better. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But the thing is what makes it so beautiful is that when you saw that episode for the first time in that series, it was so original, it was so fresh, and it was so fun that everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. If it was a recreate, like one for one, they just wanted to revamp the graphics. Oh, dude, I think it'd be 1,000,000 times better. But there's just too much in our society where politics and things play so much of a meaning that they have to go that way. Like they have to add some shit, and it's like I think everybody's already tired of that. Mm-hmm. Like I was so impressed this past week that DC introduced a new transgender masculine character who's non-binary. And I don't even know what the fuck that means. But I'm so excited. You want to know why? Because it's an original character. No, they're not fucking up a character. They're not taking a character that's been there for years and being like, oh, hey, guys, we know you like Solomon Grundy, but you didn't know he's non-binary. And he's going to wear this flag now and he's going to protest. No, it's not about that. Like they literally created a character and they're like, her name or this person's name is Codebreaker. They're in charge of this thing called the Still Force. It's the opposite of what the Flash can do, which I guess he means he goes really slow. Like, I don't understand it yet. I guess you got to wait for him to write it out because I guess the opposite of the Flash would be you're just really, really fucking slow. But yeah, it's a person who deals with all of that stuff, but they have a whole new opportunity to write from its original nature and show people what it's about. Now that they've created it, we praise them. because of all the bad they've done before. Here they are doing the right thing for once. We praise them. We say, hey, man, dude, good job on that. And then we say, good luck. Because now they got to write the character, make it relatable, or at least to where you can at least like invest emotion into that character for you to care. If it doesn't interest you, you're just going to look at it and be like, oh, that's like Booster Gold. I don't give a fuck about Booster Gold. Oh, shit, that's like Blue Beetle. I don't give a fuck about that guy. You know what I mean? Oh, Zatanna's dad? Oh, I don't give a fuck about that guy. You know, it's just going to be like that. You're just going to be like that. So you'll be okay. You're just going to overlook it, but other people will like that character. And at least they have a whole new character to look up to. So, straight. Thanks for that question, man. Try again. New one. I haven't seen it, but it's probably going to suck.
The animation quality is pretty good.
I saw the quality's cool.
Yeah, story-wise,
Wah.
Yeah, if you love the original, you're gonna hate it.
Oh, did I have one of those? I have a
no, don't touch me there.
What was it? Which one was it? I don't even know what the sound was. I know I have a bunch of them.
I need one of those.
What sound was it? I don't even know what it was. What was the sound?
You played a no, don't touch me there.
Oh no, oh my bad. I have what is is that the Wawa? I have a bunch of those, dude. I want to say thank you guys for bringing me on the show. I had a really good time.
Appreciate it, Chris. All right, I guess that's pretty much it. So check out the Average Boys every Friday, 9 p.m. Give a like, a follow, a share, and then you can catch Jay at the shop every other day.
You guys make sure you guys stop by the Collectors. It's a really great shop. They give you guys great prices, good people, man. That's why I'm still here, man, because they're great guys, great motherfuckers. I love these guys. They're cool. Go check out the shop.
Yeah, as soon as you 2 days out of the week, you see Fred, whoever decided to come to the podcast, 5 days out of the week.
Yeah,
excellent.
Hashtag
all right, boys.
Fred. All right, thanks. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. See you.
Laters.
Laters.